Good morning. Welcome to the Community Calendar. I'm Jazze, and today my guest is Veronica Whitehead. She is the CHES Director of Programs with the North Texas Alliance to Reduce Unintended Pregnancy in Teens and with Talk About It Dallas. We want to talk about Sex Ed for All Month, which is happening now, which most people don't know about. So let's first talk about North Texas Alliance to Reduce Teen Pregnancy and what is its mission.
Thanks for having me this morning. So the North Texas Alliance to Reduce Unintended Pregnancy in Teens, which is a very long name, and so for short we go by NTARUPT, is a nonprofit organization in Dallas. We are just off of downtown, off of Good Latimer, and our whole mission is to reduce unintended pregnancy in teens by providing comprehensive, inclusive, trauma-informed sexual health education for preteens, teens, and their parents. We also provide education for schools, people who work with young people. We want to change the culture and the dialogue around talking about sex openly and honestly, because we believe any young person who has accurate, honest, truthful, shame-free information is fully capable of making the best decision for them and their lives. And we want parents and guardians in their lives to be a part of that conversation.
Talking about sex with a teen is kind of taboo. It kind of makes people feel uncomfortable, especially if they have teens. What are some ways that parents can start having those conversations without it being so, I guess, awkward?
You know, this is my job, right? I am a sex educator, and even I get nervous sometimes. And so it's totally understandable if parents or caregivers, loved ones feel nervous. What we typically find among parents is that they want to have this conversation and they are also terrified. Mm-hmm. And so the first thing I would say is take a deep breath. So whether it's you are planning to have a conversation or your child asks you a question that you just did not see coming, take a deep breath, right? Breathe. Because a lot of times we apply our adult brain to that question or to that conversation. And a lot of times then people are asking questions purely out of curiosity or they heard something. And so as you're taking that deep breath, also realize that it is amazing and phenomenal that they are asking you. Because, you know, when they ask you, that means they trust you. They want to hear from you. They want you to be their resource and their go-to, not their friends or, you know, TV or social media. They want to hear from you. So breathe, recognize it's great that they're talking and asking you, and then be honest. You know, honesty will help the situation immensely, whether it's you answer the question honestly. So if a young person asks you, what is sex, right? And that is a huge and daunting question. And so the best thing to do is not to use metaphors. Don't talk about the stork, because eventually you'll have to admit that the stork isn't real. And so be honest. And so if a young person asks you, what is sex? You know, a great follow-up is, you know, that's a good question. Why do you ask? And helping to get more context can also help guide your question and your response. So be honest, and then also be honest if you don't know the answer. And so questions from young people range from what is sex, which seems both simple and complex, and then also they may have heard something and you're not really sure what they're talking about, or maybe they ask something like, how does birth control work? And, you know, you may know you take a pill every day, but that's it. And so be honest and say, you know, that's a good question. I'm not sure, but let's find out together. And you can go to talkaboutitdallas.com, where we have all of the answers to the questions you may have or your young person may have. Or you can either say, you know, I'm not sure, but I want to follow back up with you on this. And so if you follow back up, always follow through. So if you say, I'm going to circle back around, follow through. Don't think you got out. It's not a get-free card. You have to follow up because they are trusting you to be that source of information.
That's really good information. And so for that parent, are there certain signs or behaviors that they should look out for? Let's just say that their child didn't come to them and ask them about sex, but they're noticing some different behaviors. Or would you say at the age of 12 or 13, you should just have the talk?
Yeah, I would say, you know, the talk should be going throughout a child's lifespan. And the talk evolves with them as they get older. So, for example, when children are young and, when they're 2 and 3 and building that vocabulary, as parents, we teach them this is your elbow, this is your arm, this is your ear. It is acceptable and necessary to teach them the anatomically correct terms for their genitalia, for their private parts. Starting that dialogue, right, at a young age in a way that's appropriate for them in their development. So starting with the correct terms, that way when they get older and you're talking about things like what is actually sex, it's not the first time they're hearing the word vagina, right? We've already established the vocabulary. And so we're talking about it when we're building our vocabulary. We're talking about it as we get older and our body develops. So we're talking about puberty and what does that mean? And how does that relate to my sexual development as a human being? And what are the feelings that I have? And it continues to progress throughout a lifespan. So I would say, don't wait until you notice things and don't wait for them to ask you, right? Be ahead of the game. Go ahead and start that dialogue, start that conversation. And again, I get it. This is a scary thing because a lot of us didn't have parents or people in our lives to have this conversation with us. We didn't have a role model in that respect. talkaboutitdallas.com is a free website, and we're on Instagram. We are here to answer your questions, to guide you through the conversation. We host classes on how to talk to your kids about sex, and so you don't have to do this alone. We want to do this with you and support you.
If you're just now tuning in, I'm speaking with Veronica Whitehead. She's with the North Texas Alliance to Reduce Unintended Pregnancy in Teens and Talk About It Dallas. And we want to talk about the importance of having the talk with your teens. I understand that the pregnancy rate in Dallas is extremely high, which shocked me. Is that still true?
Yeah, what we're seeing across the country and across all states is that teen birth rate has been declining for quite some time. So there's that piece of it. But then when we look at the teen birth rate a little bit closer, while Texas on the whole is declining, we are seeing some areas in Texas where that teen birth rate isn't declining. It's increasing, or it's not declining at the same rate as the state or as the nation. And so when we looked at other metropolitan areas similar in size to Dallas across the nation, Dallas was right up at the top in terms of teen birth rates. And so we have a lot of work has happened and a lot of great improvements have been made. But when you are in the business of prevention and education and knowledge, the work never ends. So we jokingly say we want to put ourselves out of a job, and that is our end goal. But there will always be a need for trauma-informed, shame-free, accurate information. That is a key mission here at NTARUPT, is just to make sure everybody has honest information.
And how does teen pregnancy affect a teen's life, whether it's male or female? Having a child at an early age, how can it throw a life off?
We get asked this question talking to different people, and I want to be clear that for some young people, it may not completely throw their life off. There are young parents who still graduate from high school, go into a career, go to college. What we do know about people who become young parents is that it can make that transition trickier. That transition from high school to either the workforce or to college, it can make that transition trickier. And it can, at times, a young person may have intentions on going to school maybe out of the city or out of the state. Those options may change because they now understand a different level of responsibility. And so it can make life transitions trickier. Not impossible, though. We also at NTARUPT want to make sure that we empower teen parents to know that it's not impossible and that they can still live the life they see fit for their child and themselves. It is trickier. At NTARUPT, we promote access to comprehensive education and reproductive health care so that the individual person can make the best decision for them, whatever that may look like for them.
That makes a lot of sense. So I knew we were going to have this interview today, so I wanted to prep with quite a few questions that I got just from some teens that are interested in finding out these things about sex. So one of the questions was, how often should someone get tested?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. So getting tested for sexually transmitted diseases, also known as sexually transmitted infections, is so crucial, y'all. in Dallas County, we are seeing STD rates increasing. And they're at the highest they've been in about 10 years. And so, if someone is sexually active, we highly encourage you to get tested at the very minimum, at least once a year. So what we tell our young people is, if you are going in for that athletic physical, around that time of year, go ahead and get tested. And there are locations that you can get tested for low cost or free. So you can go to Dallas County STI Clinic and get reduced cost testing there. The other thing we recommend for people is, if you're in a relationship with one person, right, and, getting tested once to twice a year is good. The other recommendation is getting tested every time you switch partners. So if you've had multiple partners and you're switching partners, definitely get tested every time you switch partners. You just want to make sure that you are healthy and that you're protecting yourself and also protecting your partner. And of course, with getting tested, right, prevention is also important. And so condoms and dental dams are great methods of reducing the risk of an STI.
And that actually goes into my next question. Can you still get an STD wearing a condom?
So the important thing to know is that condoms are highly effective, right, of reducing STIs, incredibly highly effective. But like anything in the world, nothing is 100%. And so while it reduces the potential of transmitting an STI significantly, right, nothing is 100%. What does increase the likelihood of that condom protecting you is using it consistently and correctly. Jazze, I don't want to get in trouble for saying something on air I shouldn't say.
Okay.
So you let me know.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, we tell our young people, you can't put the condom on after sex has already started, right? It's not just, let me just put the tip in. No. You got to get that condom on before that happens, right? And
right.
so that's
the pull-out method does not work.
No, exactly. And so get that condom on before sex of any kind happens, right? So get that condom on and get it on correctly, right? And so surprisingly, people think, oh, it's just so easy to put on. But mistakes can be made, which cause the condoms to rip, to break, to pop. And that is caused largely due to the condom just not being put on correctly, right? And using lubricants is another great way to prevent that condom from slipping, breaking, or tearing. So if we use condoms consistently, right, before any sex happens, and we use them correctly, they're highly, highly effective.
Can you have an STD without showing any symptoms?
Yes, you can, in fact. This is a common misperception out there. Oftentimes people think, and not just the young people we work with, but adults too, oftentimes people think that they will know if their partner or if they themselves has an STI because it burns when they urinate or it itches or, there's a smell or a discharge. And while all of these are common side effects of an STI, another very common side effect is no signs or symptoms. So it's so important to get tested and to get tested frequently. A very common STI is HPV, human papillomavirus. And oftentimes, the majority of people, there's no signs, there's no symptoms. And for some people, when they find out they're infected, it's because they have gone for their annual gynecological exam. So getting tested and using protection rather, just protects everybody, yourself first and foremost, and then it protects your partner as well.
Absolutely. And when a teen decides, okay, I need to go and get tested, do they have to have a parent with them?
That's a good question too. So the short answer is no. The long answer is it depends. So if you are 14 and older, you do not need parental permission to get tested and to get treated. And so when we talk about healthcare options with our young people, we always say we would hope that a parent, guardian, or trusted adult can go with you to this. We hope for all young people that conversation and dialogue is available. And we also know that's not the case for everybody, right? So, a young person in Dallas County can get tested at the Dallas County STI Clinic. They can also get tested and treated at any county women's health clinics, so the Parkland WISH clinics. which are widely available throughout the county. You can go get tested and get treated if you're 14 and older and do not need a parent to be there.
I didn't know that. All right. Well, this is really good information. So that's going to conclude all the questions that I received. And I think it's going to really help those teens in regards to the questions that they had. Now, I understand that you guys have a contest that's going on, which is kind of exciting. It's called Quarantine Talks, and you're giving away money.
Money.
So tell me about it.
Yes. So right now we have a contest going on our Instagram account. So I need everybody to follow Talk About It Dallas. And so when you find us on Talk About It Dallas, you're going to see we have our Quarantine, T-E-E-N, Talks, Quarantine Talks. And what we're asking is just for teens in the Metroplex to make a post about a variety of different topics. And so if they go to our Instagram and check out, it's one of our multiple posts on our account right now and the link in our bio, you can make a post about sex education, STIs, teen pregnancy, talking to your parents. But make a post, follow us, tag us in it. You can also enter the contest by answering our question in the comment section. So we have questions on the post. If you answer the question, for example, our current question was, what was your sex ed experience? So if you answer the question in the comment section, you'll be entered into a raffle to win a $100 Visa gift card.
Oh.
So it's pretty simple. It's very simple. Just answer the question. We'll enter you in the raffle, and then we will mail you that Visa gift card if you're selected. So we want to hear from you. We want to make sure everybody's doing okay out there. Listen, we need to still stay safe, both from the coronavirus, but also from STI viruses. So protection on all fronts.
I hate to say this, but everybody's social distancing. They're in the house. And that's kind of when babies are being made.
Yes. So parents, talk to your children. This is a great time. You have them at home. Visit Talk About It Dallas. Find out how to have the conversation. Hit us up. Let us know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. But talk to your kids during this time. And listen, y'all, kids, get informed, follow us on Instagram, find our website. And, I hope that you all have someone trusted in your life that you can talk to about. Maybe it's an older sibling, a trusted aunt or uncle, or a caregiver or parent. But I think this is a great time while we're all together and babies could potentially be made to have open, honest, shame-free conversations.
Exactly. So when is the deadline to enter the contest?
It's ongoing. So we post new questions periodically throughout the month of May for Sex Ed for all months. So it's ongoing. So you have to follow us. You have to follow us to find out the new question and how to enter. So follow us, Talk About It Dallas. We want to hear from you guys.
And that's on Instagram. So make sure you guys go and follow them now so you can enter the contest. I wish I could enter because I sure could use $100.
Listen, I'm trying to get another account to enter because there's no other easier contest, y'all. Just answer the question in the comment section.
Exactly. Oh, well, this information was just absolutely wonderful. And it is something that people don't really want to talk about. Let's be honest, it's taboo. And they think, oh, you'll figure it out on your own. But if you can not go through that same situation that maybe you went through, you can save your child from going through that. Please have the talk. And if you don't know how to do it, there's resources out there, like Veronica said, at talkaboutitdallas.com, and they will assist you with talking to your kids.
That's it. Come check us out. Thank you so much, Jazze, for having me. This is great.
Thank you so much.